Now wild boars have stepped into the light, bringing with once just shadows and forest legends. Colorado, they're breeding out of control, tear them a real nightmare in threatening lives. Tearing through crops, invading homes, and the hunt begins, not for sport. No one sees it as a joke anymore. We follow those who've taken on this silent war, but for survival. And today, between man and beast. Wild boars, from deep forest legends to a present nightmare in Colorado. Wild breeding uncontrollably, they've spread from forest edges. Boars, once merely the stuff of tales from the deep woods, have become a real menace in Colorado, causing severe damage to crops, property, and even threatening human safety into residential areas and farms. Over time, herds of boars began appearing in droves. Initially, the damage was minor, just a few scratches on cornfields, but ravaging the land at night like a relentless flood. Faced with this crisis, hunting is no longer just a passion. It has. The hunt that day was meticulously prepared. Weapons were carefully become a duty to protect land, crops, and livelihoods. Cleaned, and each bullet was thoroughly inspected. The hunting dogs seemed to sense the tense atmosphere as well. The group moved into an area showing strong signs of wild boar activity, where hearts pounded in every chest like a bowstring ready to snap. Before them lay a fresh footprints were etched into the mud and grass was uprooted, serving as undeniable evidence for an ambush. Harvested cornfield, flat and sprawling, perfect for. One hunter raised his rifle, took aim, steadied his breath, then pulled the trigger. The shot rang out. The animal, as expected, just a few minutes later, a large wild boar emerged, slowly moving along the field's edge. "Good, keep moving," someone said. Though excitement quickly spread through the group, everyone understood. This was always hit, and it collapsed on the spot. The whole group shifted direction, advancing toward the hills behind. Rugged terrain filled with rocks and tall grass, only the beginning. One member took a high vantage point, perfect for a clear view. An ideal spot for wild boars to rest during the day. Rifle, aimed carefully and pulled the trigger. Soon after, a dark shadow bolted down the slope, heading for the dense bushes below. Without hesitation, he raised his heavy body, flattening the grass in its wake. The animal was hit, tumbling down. Right after, the hunters were startled to see a herd of wild boars charging down the opposite hill like a flood. Fled in terror, disappearing into the forest as silence returned, their hooves shaking the ground. One hunter raised his rifle, and after a few tense seconds, he took down one boar, causing the herd to panic and scatter. He then shot and felled another, and the remaining boars fled with determination, immediately charged after the direction where the wild boar herd had vanished, their hearts pounding with the thrill of the chase. Right at that moment, the group of hunters, fueled by a surge, as soon as they set foot in the forest, the hunting team split up, the instinct of the hunt coursing through their veins. The air was tight with tension. They knew that somewhere in the underbrush, the wild boars were hiding, alert, each moving silently through the thick trees. The pack of wild boars scattered in panic as the hunting dogs charged after, fierce and ready to fight back at any moment. Closed in, dead set on letting none escape. To them, forcing them to break formation. The hunters, eyes locked with determination, closed. Straight toward a hunter. In a split second of tension, 3 shots rang out. It wasn't until the final one that the boar collapsed, gasping in the middle of the forest clearing. A wild boar was cornered by the pack of hunting dogs, snarling fiercely in the chaotic standoff. Suddenly, it broke free and charged. One wild boar made a desperate attempt to escape, but the hunters were already lying in wait. It suddenly picked up speed, slammed into one of them, and kept charging forward. Still. Moments later, they spotted another wild boar. Without hesitation, the hunter raised his rifle, fighting for its chance to break free. Stopped instantly. One clean shot rang out, and the boar dropped. The shot hit true, dropping the boar on the spot as it tumbled to the ground. After a long chase, one of the hunters came across a wild boar trying to stay hidden. He waited in silence, steady and patient. The moment the boar turned to flee, the hunter pulled the trigger. But the hunter held his position, calm and ready. As the moment came, he pulled the trigger once more. In just seconds, Moments later, another wild boar appeared, this time from a different direction, but heading straight to the same spot. After nearly an hour, they moved to lower. Wild boars had been taken down at the very same location. Ground, flat, open, and perfect for spotting targets from a distance. To move with extreme caution, nearly silent. Here, the hunting dogs proved their worth. Fewer trees meant fewer hiding spots for prey, but it also forced the hunt away. One hunter, acting on instinct, raised his rifle and fired. The shot hit true, and the animal collapsed in a cloud of dust. Suddenly, a wild boar burst from the edge of a bush, just steps away. No time to pause. He spotted another target, fired, and the bullet pierced its. The moment lasted mere seconds, but it felt like facing a wild beast head-on. Suddenly, the hunting dogs erupted into a frenzy of barking, shattering the silence. They had caught wind of a wild boar hiding deep in the bushes, within his neck, dropping it instantly. Seconds, the entire pack surged forward, launching into a breathtaking chase. The hunters watched in awe, a raw, powerful scene of nature in motion. They split up once again, determined to track down the remaining boar.
Tamam.
The group stayed crouched at the edge of the bushes, eyes constantly scanning the area. As dusk fell, maintained distance, aimed, creature appeared in their sights. The hunter stepped back. The shot was perfectly and pulled the trigger. Precise. The animal collapsed without a chance to react. November used to be a season of harvest filled with laughter. At the Denizli Siverol farm in the state of Turkey, boars have destroyed everything. Every ear of corn bitten, trampled, but this year wild boar hunters decided it was time to act. And left in ruin. Fueled by frustration and anger, the local at dawn they set out in their familiar hunting truck, heading straight for the vast fields of Denizli Sibling. Within just 10 minutes, a few wild boars appeared. One shot rang out, but the animal kept charging forward. The team moved with precision, cutting off escape routes, raising their rifles. 2 shots, 2 animals down. Perfect. Thankfully, the hunting dogs closed in. The target was locked. Soon after, more boars were spotted. Just minutes later, another boar burst across the field. The whole team held their breath. Once again, the target dropped before it had a chance to react, crouching low in the tall grass. A shot rang out. Elsewhere, John was in a tense pursuit. With seasons skill, he quickly took down his target. Calm, reacting fast with deadly. The wild boars here are especially bold and aggressive. Some even charge straight at humans, but the hunters remain calm. Precision. It doesn't stand a chance. Suddenly, a noise erupts from the opposite side. The ground trembles. Another beast shoots out like an arrow, but this time ready. Gunfire shatters the air. The animal seasoned marksmen are already locked in, collapsing in the middle of the field. Drops instantly, was hiding in a nearby cornfield. Without hesitation, they set out again. Just minutes later, chaos erupted. The boars poured out. Before they could even rest, news came in. A herd of wild boars managed to bring down only one, but they knew this hunt wasn't over, and they would return tomorrow. Like a flood, amid gunfire and shouted commands, they managed